What's up, y'all? It's Sports Kid back with another season prediction. Today, we have good old TCU, the Horned Frogs, national championship runner-ups. Yikes. Anyway, let's get into it. How are they going to do this season? That's the big question. Of course, last year they did go 13-2. They lost the conference championship game to Kansas State, and then they lost in the national championship to Georgia. This season, their over-under win total is 7.5. A lot lower. They do have a ton of players on offense leaving. A ton. Nine offensive players leaving. Eight. I can't count. 8. And then they do have 7 defensive players returning, which is solid. But 9 on offense leaving is just dreadful. 8 TCU Horned Frogs were drafted in this past draft, including all their top players pretty much. Their recruiting class was shockingly good. I guess that happens when you go to the national championship. It ranks in at 26th. I can't count or talk. 26th in the country. And their recruiting rank is 26th. Their transfer rank is 21st. 6 4-stars and 17 3-stars help them get up to the 26th rank. Marcus Deal from Garland, Texas is a top 100 player, top 15 player from Texas, top 15 interior offensive lineman, and should be pretty good. Cordell Russell is another player, obviously. Plays receiver from Mesquite, Texas, another top 100 player. Top 15 player in the state, top 15 receiver in the class. He is a really high 4-star. Probably to push, but you could probably say he's a 5-star. And there's also Randon Fournette from Freeport, Texas. All their top players are from Texas. There's no out-of-state recruiting happening. Plays safety, top 250 player, 20th best safety in the class. Pretty good. Another 4-star. Very good class, at least for TCU. Transfer class was a very big deal. First, JoJo Earl. He was on the thumbnail of the video. First thing you saw, JoJo Earl. Why is there an Alabama player on the TCU review? Well, it's because JoJo Earl is going to be their top receiver. Transferring it from Bama, I don't really know if he got much time at Bama. Obviously, he's not a starter. Then they also brought in Avery Helm, plays cornerback from Florida, 4-star transfer. There's also Trey Sanders, a running back transfer from Alabama, who is going to be the Horned Frog starting running back. So pretty much they just take all the crummy SEC kids that didn't work out, and they're gonna make TCU good again. Whatever. 3 4-stars and 10 3-stars. 5 total players in this transfer class are going to be starters. My personal rating for this team, I'm giving them a 7.5 out of 10 on offense and a 7.5 on defense. Here is the schedule. Schedule difficulty is a B. It is stupid easy until the last 4 games. 5 games. Stupid easy until then, though. Start out with Colorado, who you might say, oh, they're back. They're not going to be back in year 1. No matter how many new players they can bring in, they're not going to be back in year 1. They played this game last year, scheduled as a home and home. Last year in Boulder, and TCU blew the doors off them. I'm going to say it's a toss-up. Because I don't know. I feel like it's a toss-up. That's good enough reasoning for me. Next is Nichols. Good old Nichols from the Southland Conference in FCS. Nichols is not good compared to TCU, and will get their socks kicked off. They're going to get blown out. Next is Houston, a newcomer to the Big 12 Conference. This is on the road at Houston. Fun fact, Houston plays all but 2 games on their schedule in the state of Texas. Pretty cool as a Cougar fan. even as a Cougar fan, I am going to admit TCU is probably the better team in this situation. And they're probably going to get this win over Houston. Now we have TCU, SMU, two schools from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, two rivals. And I do think it might be a little bit closer. TCU, again, they are going to regress, and this game usually is pretty close. It was within one score last year. TCU won the year before by one score. Or SMU won the year before by the same score. Didn't play in 2020. TCU won in 2019 in a 3-point game. And then SMU won in 2018 in a blowout. Rivalry, of course, stays pretty close. Should be a toss-up. Game 5 against West Virginia, who is going to be miserable and one of the worst teams in the conference. Should be a close win in Fort Worth. Maybe not a close win, maybe like a 10, 14-point win for TCU. West Virginia is like really actually trying to be the worst team in the conference. They could probably be worse than Cincinnati or Houston, who are also fighting to be the worst in the conference, but they're also first-year conference teams. West Virginia will definitely be the worst team who's not a first-year team in the conference. Next is Iowa State, who went 4-8 last year. Dreadfully dreadful, miserable. All of the bad things happened to Iowa State, and they were bad. And not sure if they're going to be much better this season. I think they are going to take a loss from TCU. Even though Iowa State will have home field advantage, they are just like West Virginia. They're fighting to be one of the worst teams in the conference. Next up, we have another Big 12 newcomer in Brigham Young. Good old BYU. If it was on the road, I'd definitely put it as a toss-up. I'd definitely put it as a toss-up. Two religious schools. We've got the Mormons and the Christians. Could be a big deal for conference standings. BYU is coming off of a bye week. I guess that helps them out a bit, but I don't think they're going to be too fantastic. Maybe 5-7, just feels like a 5-7 team, BYU this season. So I think TCU should get another victory, and at this point they should be 5-2, probably 6-1. Now the schedule gets difficult. We have old Big 12 teams and the decent ones too. Kansas State, they're pretty decent. They won the Big 12 championship game last year against this TCU team. Pretty close. And I think Kansas State is going to fight to get back there again. I'll say it is a close loss for TCU. Although TCU could be playing their hearts out to get revenge, I guess, for that 3-point championship game loss. Next is Texas Tech. Texas Tech has everything going for them. They have home field advantage, and Tech is coming off of a bye week. I'll keep it as a toss-up because Tech isn't very good. They do have 11 players on offense returning, so that's all of them. They have every single player on offense returning. Wow. Okay, I see you, Texas Tech. I see you. Anyway, TCU could keep it close. I think Tech is going to win. Next is good old T-Sips. Good old T-Sips. Honestly, on paper, no matter how much I hate Texas, I have to say that they're going to win. It's in Fort Worth at, Fort Worth, yep. I don't know if it's going to matter. As long as Texas doesn't win the conference, I won't lose my mind. Anyway, Baylor. Baylor's next. Good old Baylor Bears. Similar boat, in a similar boat as Texas Tech. Another older, historically not great Big 12 school who might actually have their record look like they're decent, but they do play a handful of teams that were Group of 5 last year. They also play Utah, though. This is another home game for TCU, another religious game, if you want to call it that. Toss up. Finally, we have TCU heading north to Norman, Oklahoma to play the Sooners. I'm going to say it's a close loss because OU is probably favored to win the conference right now. It's actually probably Texas because of the Texas bias. But Oklahoma's probably the better team. Anyway, I am going to say my record prediction is 7-5. I'll just break it down. Wins over Nichols, and then the 5 schools in the close win category, or the 4 schools for 5 wins. Then probably wins over Colorado and SMU for 7 wins. And then maybe a win over Baylor or Texas Tech for an 8th win, maybe. But then I think they will lose to the 3 teams that are favored to win the conference. I think they are the 3 teams that are favored right now. They're coming in at 4th, I think, to win the conference right now. I don't think they're going to go back to that conference championship game. It should be a decent season. Should go to a bowl game. Shouldn't be like 2021 or 2019 when they went 5-7. Anyway, if you're a TCU fan and you're still here somehow and you didn't get like mad and run away, then I applaud you. Thank you so much for watching. Comment down below what you think about this TCU football team. How are they going to do this season? Are they underrated? Are they overrated? I think they're overrated just because they're coming off a national championship game where they got their teeth kicked in. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, all those things. And until the next one, peace.